Okay, you fans of American popular culture of the 20th century, I'm going to take you to 8919 to the London Fog, where the Doors, the fledgling Doors, were the house band from approximately March 1966 to late May. For a couple of months, that's where they developed their style. That's where they wrote and performed a lot of Jim's songs for the first two albums that he wrote on Dennis Jacobs' roof. And that's where he lost his stage fright. He would sing facing the band, and then he slowly developed his neck muscles, developed a singing voice, his chops, his style, and this is where he met Pam. And this is also where he got the inspiration and wrote When the Music's Over. And they developed it slowly because he heard one night, the owner, Jesse James, telling the bartender, when the music's over, turn out the lights. So I know I did this video a couple of years back, and thankfully this part of Sunset, they haven't torn out yet. I don't think they are, but I'm here on a Sunday and I can't believe that barbershop is opened. I wanted to get a nice long shot, but here's a shot. Pretty much it's still extant of when Jim lived here and was a house band at the Whisky. That was there. That's brand new. That was called the Body Shop. But there's the Whisky, and I'm gonna go around the back to show you fans all over the world where Jim would take a break on those long, the middle bridge of Light My Fire. But I wanted to do this video again, and in fact there's photos of Jim on the 9000 building, and you can see him of course on the internet. And I don't know, apparently, I don't know, somebody he knew had some offices there, but here you go. Thankfully it's still extant, the London Fog. And now this was right here, this was the Galaxy nightclub, and there's only one photo right here that says the Doors banned from Venice, right here. And here you go, Chato's Barbershop, 8919 right here, and there it is. They're getting upset, but thankfully this is still extant. Now let me whip around to the back to show you fans all over the world where the Lizard King would hang out. He'd see a girl in the audience that caught his eye, and then he'd tell her to meet him in the back during the bridge, the long bridge of Light My Fire. Now, when I came here in the 80s to see it was a band called Wild Child. The singer was named Dave Brock. There was a gas station on that corner there. And this is exactly more or less where the hippie riots, the riots on the Sunset Strip, happened, right here between Hillsdale and Clark. And this is where Stephen Stills got the idea for his famous song For What It's Worth. Okay, so we're gonna whip around to the back, and I wanted all you fans all over, they always show the front, but I want to show you fans the back of where Jim would hang out. In fact, Jim was hanging out in the back alley when Jack Holtzman came to talk to the Doors to get him signed to Elektra. Okay, we're making a right here. Okay, this is Hilldale. Here's the alley, and this is where Jim would hang out. Well, like I said, when Jack Holtzman came to talk to the Doors to sign him, he couldn't get Jim's attention because he was in this alley here, and he was trying to get together with some young lady. Okay, we're gonna come over here, and if you can believe it, the other day some trash guy, a garbage truck, actually plowed in. I guess there was a fence there, and he destroyed the whole fence. Now here's the back of the famous Whisky. Okay, so it was opened, actually it was opened in January of 1964. It was a former Bank of America, and the guy that opened it was named Elmer Valentine. He was a cop, a retired cop from Chicago, and then he opened up another club called The Trip. And in March 1966, that's where the exploding plastic inevitable, Andy Warhol's Factory Freaks from New York performed. And when they asked Cher what did she think, that it would it replace the psychedelic movement here in Hollywood, and she said the only thing it's gonna replace is suicide. Here you go, the former Bank of America that Elmer Valentine opened up. This is where apparently the first go-go dancers in their boots. This is where it all happened. It was all invented right here, unless they were doing it in the clubs in Paris, which I don't think so. This is where, in fact, there was a scene in the Doors movie with Eric Burdon, because Eric Burdon used to hang out here with Jim, and when they were performing at the London Fog, they were Love was the band here, and when they became, in that summer of '66, they became the house band, and then they would open for Love. Okay, so we're gonna turn left. Clark turns into San Vicente. Now we're gonna go down Holloway, and I'm gonna show you fans. According to Paul Ferrara, when Jim had his Blue Lady, his Ford 1967 Ford Mustang Shelby GT 500, he said that he was in the back seat, Babe Hill was in the front. For whatever reason, Jim was in a foul mood, and he said that he punched the accelerator going 100 miles an hour down Holloway, and he ran every light. Okay, so we're gonna come down. Now this is the route that Jim would have taken when he was at the London Fog, and then when they were the house band, he would take this route to La Cienega to stay when he was ready to crash at the Alta Cienega for $6 a night. Thankfully, it's still extant. It looks the way it did when Jim was here. These are the apartments right here. I did a video of where Sal Menio got stabbed to death in the alley. God bless him wherever he's at. And like, that's actually a Catholic church here in West Hollywood, if you can imagine. I think that's where Faye Dunaway goes every Sunday. Now, okay, we're coming down. I'm pulling over because they're at Lola Brigida's navigating, and there's a bus behind us. Okay, I'm gonna get off at the corner of La Cienega, and now there's what Babe Hill and Tom Baker, his drinking buddies, he was an ex-boyfriend of Pam. They would go on a bar crawl, and they would start at the extension, and then they would go to the across to the phone booth. Then they go to Barney's Beanery that way. Now I'm making a right. I'm gonna see if I can get off right here, because like I said, it's been boarded up, the Alta Cienega. And here's the famous room that he stayed in off and on, room 32, $6 a night. And I'm concerned because it's been boarded up, and then they tore whatever was over here in this lot. Let me give you a 360. That, like I said, that was Art Linkletter's bowling lanes from 1946 more or less to the 1970s. Okay, here you come, you fans of the Lizard King. This is where he would be walking 2 a.m. And I don't think I mentioned what they were making at the London Fog. They were making $5 a night on the weekdays, $10 a night on weekends, 4 sets a night from 9 to 2 a.m. And here you go. They built it in 1947, and everybody, when they come, they always have a shot, but they never show the 360. And here you go, right here, Jim's famous room at 1005 La Cienega. There you go, the Lizard King's lair. That's where Mick Jagger, he came to talk to Jim the day that they were going to appear at the Hollywood Bowl, and he wanted to get his opinion on how to perform in giant venues. And then Tim Hardin, he was shooting up in the bathroom, they said, the guy that wrote and sang If I Were a Carpenter. And here you go, here's a nice shot. And I think I read that they want $75,000 per month to lease it, but I know what they're gonna do. You're gonna come and it's gonna be torn out, and they'll do it in the middle of the night. Too bad it's not protected. It should be for posterity. Now, that other video that I just did, I'm sorry I ended it abruptly because the memory was full, and I said a few things when I was here delivering in the 1980s. Here was where the phone booth was, and I said in that video that it was pretty much extant the way it looked when Jim lived here in West LA. And the people that were in there was an office, and they still had the stairwell, the original stairwell. And I walked in there and I said, do you know what happened here? And she goes, no, what? She was a secretary. And I said, this is where the Doors recorded LA Woman. And she was like totally flummoxed. So that's what I said when the video abruptly shut off. And that's where they did that famous photo of them in the stairwell in the bright yellow. And then there's the original, thankfully, liquor sign, sans the neon, of course. But this was the original entrance I said in the other video, and they tore it out. So let's end this video. And for posterity, at least I was able to grab these few remnants, these few articles that graced the person of Jim Morrison, and of course Ray Manzarek. And as you can see, whenever they put those green tarps, that always signifies that they're going to tear out the building. I wanted to go back there and show you fans all over the world of where Jim did in October 1970 the famous Sally Stevenson interview that he did for Circus. And you can hear the audio, all the racket here in Santa Monica Boulevard. So I'm going to end it here. Jim and Ray, wherever you're at, good night, sweet princess, and please subscribe to my channel and give me a thumbs up for my algorithm. Thank you very much, and I'll be seeing you.